Hello?
Hi, is this Ethan?
Yes.
This is Kelly from Night Ranger calling.
Kelly, how's life treating you these days?
Very good, man. We're, starting to pick up dates. We're just coming out of the first quarter and we're excited about being on the road playing dates. So we're going to be rocking like crazy.
I can tell that you are. Speaking of dates, you may want to have a bit of a talk with whoever's doing your routing because you are in Illinois on April 1st and then Florida on the 3rd. And then Nevada on the 9th, and then back in Florida on the 22nd. You're just crossing the country.
What the heck is wrong with these people?
I know, right? You figure they'd put them at least in some kind of order.
The dartboard tour.
It really is. And I think it wasn't that long ago you were in Florida because you went on one of those rock cruises, too. So this would be like the third time this year.
Yeah, I know. It's we have a lot of different towns with equipment in it, as you can probably tell. So that's how we can jump around and get in there.
Building up those frequent flyer miles, aren't you?
Exactly.
Your biggest hit that everybody knows, Sister Christian, which you wrote about your own sister, was originally written back in 82, would have been on Dawn Patrol, but you guys pushed it back to Midnight Madness in 83. Why did you hold that one off for a whole year?
I don't know. You know what? There wasn't really any rhyme or reason with that. I think that some of the material, I think the producer, Pat Glasser, wanted to make sure we had enough material to do two albums. Because, sometimes you put one out and then you get dropped or something. So he was like, well, let's make sure we have enough material to do another record. I mean, and in those days you would do tour and just continue like that. And sometimes you'd come off the road after being out there for 6 months and you wouldn't have written anything, So we had a few songs tucked in there, and that might have been the idea, but it really wasn't our idea. But some of the songs ended up, being commingling between the two albums,
Well, you should definitely give that producer a high five or a bonus, because there's all those bands that go, you have your whole life to write your first album and 6 months to write your sophomore slump album, and a lot of people don't get to that second one.
That's right, exactly. So that was probably the idea with that. Is we had a good amount of material, and that was probably it. We had to have enough to go right back in there, which actually what happened. The first record label was Boardwalk Records, and while we were on tour with Sammy Hagar, touring the country on that first record, Boardwalk went under.
Oh,
so we got back and we're playing in our hometown in San Francisco at the time, and it was like, there's no records in the stores. And we were like, well, what happened? And the guy said, Boardwalk went under. And we were like, what do you mean? The IRS closed the doors and they owed them so much money, they closed it, So we were like, holy crap. So, the record man, Bruce Bird, went in there and made a deal with Irving Azoff, who was the head of MCA Records at the time, to do the second record. So we went right in there, and they said, you got to have it, and we got to have it in a couple of months. And we said, we'll have it in a month. So we went right back in there and recorded and had the second record,
And speaking of San Francisco, Billy Graham was one of the guys who helped get you guys sort of launched when you were first starting, and he's a huge name in the industry.
I know. It was amazing when we first started out in the 80s, 1980 in particular. Alan Fitzgerald, our keyboard player, was associated with Sammy Hagar, Ronnie Montrose, and a lot of those early rock and roll stars, and he had played with all of them, and they were managed by Bill Graham. Ronnie Montrose was, and so that's how we came to know Bill Graham. He put us on shows when we were just a rookie band with no record. So he was really a powerful force in the beginning for us.
That's awesome to hear. Going back to Sister Christian, when you wrote it, did you, and it's never possible to tell how big something will get, but did you know you had something special on your hands or a hit on your hands?
I didn't know about a hit, but I knew that I had a really great song, and I knew I had a really great melody, a wonderful melody that just kind of went from the verses to the choruses. And so that's all I knew. And that's really all you knew. When you write a song is that you're hopefully you're going to touch people, and you're going to connect with them. And that's what it did. Who knew it was going to be that, but it ended up, you know, getting played on radio 4 million times and all this kind of thing. And it's still going as we speak.
I think there should be some sort of plaque somewhere because you and the band Night Ranger probably have the most famous, outside of maybe Macarena, the most famous single word in all of popular music. Because anytime anybody says motor in, everybody else goes, motor in.
It blew my mind when they were doing like football commentary, and the guy said, "Man, he's running, he's motoring." I was like, I can't believe I just heard that.
That's got to be the coolest feeling ever, yeah.
And then it got put in a couple of movies that were pretty amazing, Boogie Nights, and some of those movies where it got played, and it just keeps it running. It's just going to keep going.
Well, and, I saw you guys play at SeaWorld last year, and, of course, you came on, and the whole thousands of people in the crowd, even though that we were socially distanced, everybody sang along louder than the band could play. So, yeah, it's going to be there forever.
I know. It's amazing. We're really proud of it,
On Seven Wishes, the loose storyline that I was reading about it is about the band flying a B-25 because Jack and Brad sort of have a thing for World War II planes. I'm similar. And your song Sentimental Street includes the band pretending to fly off in one and get stranded on a deserted island. Have you ever actually flown in a B-25? Because I have. They're awesome. They're loud as hell and kind of scary as hell.
Oh, my God. I wish we had. Because when we got in that plane to do the photo shoot, we were all like, can somebody take us out in this thing? And it was like they looked around and tried to find a pilot, and it's like nobody wants to go out right now. But yeah, I mean, that would have been astronomical. That would have been incredible if we would have done that. So you say they're really loud and probably like rattle and around, and it's incredible. And Jack he's been a collector of military memorabilia for probably 45 years. He's got an incredible collection at home, and some of his works, some of the stuff that he collected has been in history books and stuff like that because he's got a unique. Some of his pieces are unique. So he always brings me along when he goes out to hunt for treasures. I love it.
Oh, that will be fun. That B-25 that I was in, it was a little disconcerting at the beginning because, flying on jets, everything is pressurized and everything's sealed. These old B-25s didn't get high enough to get pressurized, but it was my first time being on an airplane that kind of had like a hand crank for a window. You could actually roll down the window on a plane.
I'm sure the wind's blowing through every single crack and cranny, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, the wind's probably just leaking through,
Yeah, the veteran that was on the plane, he flew around with it. He kept opening the window, and he'd stick his head out, and I'm like, we're doing 200 miles an hour, man. It's crazy.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I wanted to talk about, you have an amazing ability. I've been in a few bands myself, played rhythm guitar and lead, and it's a hard thing to do both at the time because you're singing and you're playing guitar chords at slightly different rhythms. How hard was it for you to get it down to where, like Phil Collins, you could play drums and sing at the same time?
Well, I think that, the fact that I started learning both at the same time really helped. When I was like 6, I started, messing around with drums and playing surf songs and then Beatles and stuff like that, all that early 60s stuff. So I think that probably had a lot to do with it, But I still can't, chew gum and walk at the same time. So I don't know what that means to you, but...
Well, like I said, I saw you on stage already, and you played and sang perfectly, just like the CD, so you've obviously had plenty of practice doing it, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I love the challenge every night to do what I do,
After playing and touring for decades and sharing the stages with pretty much every rock band in the world, is there a band out there that you haven't toured or played with that's kind of a bucket list for you?
The Beatles.
Oh, yeah. Might be a little hard these days, but that would be a bucket list for me too.
I know, but back in the day, I think that growing up with all the 60s and 70s acts, Deep Purple and stuff like that, we did get a chance to play with Deep Purple in 1985, so that was my bucket list. That was pretty much it,
Well, it's nice to have that checked off the list early on in the career. Everything else is just gravy, right?
I agree. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. You guys are going to be at the Chasco Fiesta, Newport Richie on April 3rd. I'm going to come up and see you. Hopefully we'll get to hang out backstage and say hi to each other.
Great.
Since we don't have masks and social distancing anymore. It's going to be a whole different time. It'll be awesome, my friend.
I heard about that. I heard that it's been going on and it's just more than like record crowds out there and stuff. So.
Yeah, I think concerts in Florida, especially right now in the spring, are back in full effect, and everybody's excited to get out. Thank you for calling in today, Kelly. Can't wait to see you this weekend.
Take care, my friend. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.